Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My hand was off camera. I'll move my wave over here. Hey! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca. This is Rebecca's Bookshelf, and today I'm bringing you another writing video. And I thought today that I would talk about the history of my writing because I have been writing for a very long time. I'm 21 years old. I've been writing since I was in like 4th or 5th grade. So, over half my life I've been writing stuff. So, I thought that I would share with you today some of the stuff that I wrote. Well, probably not share some of it, but I'm gonna tell you guys about it, so we'll get started with that. I'm gonna start with elementary school. Elementary school, I was, like I said, I started writing in like 4th or 5th grade, and the first couple of things that I ever wrote were like stories about my friends and I. It was like me and then a couple of my friends would go on like the magic tree house adventures. Like they'd go to the tree house and like we'd be transported to other places, and it was like super fun and super cool. But it was like awful writing back then. I had horrible spelling. My handwriting was awful. So, you know, there's that for that. So, basically in elementary school, I was just learning to write. So, like, it was easiest to like write what you know and write what you do and then add a little bit of stuff from like stuff that you read. So for me, that was what I did in elementary school. But transitioning into middle school, I started writing fan fiction. Now, fan fiction is something that has been in my life for a very long time too. I love writing fan fiction. Like, it's fantastic. I just love it. Like I said, fan fiction was a very big part of my life, and I had to dig through the box that I'm gonna show you right now. Box. Cut to box. Boom. This is the writing box that is stuffed under my bed. I just wanted to show you guys real quick because I'm going to be probably pulling some stuff out of it. But it is full of writing stuff. That box has been under my bed for quite some time. I have been filling it with stuff since forever, and then obviously I have my cabinets. This thing over here has notebooks and stuff in it. Tons and tons of notebooks. Let's see if I can open this with one hand. This drawer right here, full to the brim with writing stuff. This drawer down here is also filled to the brim with writing stuff. I have my cabinets over here that are filled with stuff too. I have another tub of notebooks, but it's in my basement because I didn't have any room for it because I have a very small room. So, but I thought it would be funny to show you guys. I dug through the box and found two of the things that I used to do when I was younger. I used to think that script writing was written like this. I don't know if you can see that. I don't even know what it says. But it's awful writing. So like this is the character name, then you've got dialogue, and then in parentheses is action. That's how I used to think that script writing was written, which it is totally not. But that is how I used to do it. And if you couldn't tell by the names, which you probably couldn't, but you might have been able to pick out Roy. This is Full Metal Alchemist fanfiction, because I was obsessed with Full Metal Alchemist back then, and I still kind of am. It's still one of my favorite animes, so, you know. And then I also wanted to show you this, which I don't know if I'll be able to get where you can see that, but it is written, this is from 2007, so this was when I was in 6th grade. And it was written with the you point of view. That was like super popular in like fan fiction back then, because I remember getting on Quizilla, which I don't even think exists anymore. But I used to get on Quizilla and read stuff like that. This was no, what is this? This is the Shaman King. This was the Shaman King fan fiction. But I used to read them, and they all like, it was a huge thing was having your fan fictions be in a you point of view, so like you, the reader, were part of it, which is now kind of frowned upon. People don't really like that anymore. They're like, don't write in second person, but it used to be like a super popular thing, so whatever. But it was interesting to write. It's funny to go back and see it because my handwriting is awful back then. I hate it. Like, I give up. I was an awful writer. I wrote all kinds of fan fiction in middle school. I wrote The Covenant, which is one of my favorite movies. Lots of animes. Shaman King, Full Metal Alchemist, Black Cat was one of my favorites. Spiral, I'm looking up there on my little tiny shelf of animes that are up there. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of what other things that I wrote back then. Supernatural. I used to write a lot of Supernatural fan fiction. Lord of the Flies in high school was one of my favorite books, and so I took that story and added a girl to it because obviously Lord of the Flies is about a bunch of boys from a private school who get stranded on an island, and it's a really, really good classic. It's like my favorite. It's one of my favorite classics, so I really, really enjoyed that. It wasn't until I was in the 7th grade that I actually started novel writing, that I liked to write my own original fiction, and I started on a story called Griffins vs. Phoenixes, and it's awful because it was like based partially in real life. Like, it was partially supposed to be, like, I had people that were like in my class that were like, put me in your back, and I was like, okay. Like, back then, because I wasn't very like talkative and stuff, so when people did stuff like that, I didn't know how to answer them. But moving on. So I started that story and I finished it in a couple of months, I think. It wasn't very long. It was only like 100 and something pages. And then I decided that I was going to expand it, and then I didn't like it. And then I took, in 8th grade, I took the brother, Scott, and the girl, his little sister, whose name in the book was Kira, changed her name to Blair, and plugged them into what is now my novel. It is called Shifters now. It was originally titled Till the Day I Die. I don't know why I named it that. I just needed a title to be like, this is the title of my book, because people kept asking me. So it used to be called Till the Day I Die. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why I chose that. And so now it is called Shifters because it makes more sense. But it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school I really got into finishing the book. I finished it my sophomore year of high school, and I decided that I didn't like the way that it was written. I read it in I wrote it, says the English major. I wrote it in 3rd person originally, and I think I just want to show you this box real quick. This box right here, filled over the top, is only shifters. That is all it is. I have written so much stuff. That's all this is. It's all shifters. I have a couple of notebooks in here, but the rest of it is printed and written shifters. So I have killed many a trees writing this book, but that is for another day. So I went through, redid the entire thing in 1st person, and I mostly wrote in dialogue. I didn't have a lot of action because back then I didn't really care about it. I was just writing the story to begin with, which is how all of my stories usually start out. Dialogue is a lot easier than action. You can get like some actions in there, but then you're like, but the dialogue is the most important part, which it is not. But everything is kind of equal in a book. But so for that, I finished that, and then got to my senior year of high school and found out from one of my friends that back when I had originally changed it to 1st person, it was still mostly dialogue, that she felt that it felt more like a screenplay, since there could be like, you could have a lot more dialogue and less direction, because that would be the director's job and stuff. So I decided that I wanted to try and attempt to turn it into a screenplay, and I got through like the first like chapter, and then I like gave up because I didn't like the way that it was turning out. So I decided that I would start writing my own screenplays. So then I went to college in Nashville and went to Watkins College of Art Design and Film, and I ended up taking a screenwriting class while I was there, which I really enjoyed, and I ended up with 3 really nice screenplays that I really enjoyed writing and finishing. And then I transferred back home and decided to be an English major after that one like random semester of being a early childhood education person, which I just try to forget about that. But then I changed to English and decided that I was going to rewrite shifters all the way through. So I have started, I say started, but I'm like 10 chapters. I wish I was 10 pages. I'm about 10, 11 chapters away from the end, and that's someone like chapter 60, so I've got a lot of material. And so I am almost finished with the complete rewrite, and then I have a couple of things that I need to go check and fix, because there's some things that don't make sense, and there was one part in the story that I wanted to fix anyways. So once I get done with that, I will have that finished, and I can work on the editing stuff with it, which is terrifying. Also have a lot of other things in the mix. This camera has moved. Obviously, it needs to go back. That I don't like that. That's much better. I have a lot more things in the mix. I have a completed comic that my best friend is a fantastic illustrator, and she can't let anyone tell her otherwise because I won't allow it. And we did a cute little 7-page comic thing. I wrote the story, she did the illustrations, and it is my main girl Blair, and then Simon and Patrick, who are two other characters. They're brothers in the book. But it's a cute little thing. I will link it down below so you guys can check that out if you want to. I have a lot of other things going on. We have another comic series that we have started but haven't had a lot of time to do because of school. And then we also have a children's story that we were working on. And I can feel her judging me from the future when she sees this, because it's mostly my fault because I don't have any written material for her to draw some stuff for. But we don't talk about that. There was a person on my channel that asked about my book and my writing and if there was any place that you could read it. I originally told her that there wasn't, but I think on my Wattpad, I think the first 2 chapters of my book are up there. So if you guys feel like checking that out, I will link that down below. I probably won't be putting the whole thing up there if any more than those first 2 chapters. I just like wanted to gauge reactions like to the first, like, this is probably like the first like 10-15 pages of the novel, so that's like an important bit for me. I want to have like it be like, bam, I want to read this novel, like I want to see what happens, like I want that to be kind of the point of like getting into something like that. So I will link that down below for you guys. I hope you guys have a happy Easter. Bye, see you later.